Okay, so today we are here to share an announcement that will transform our museum and our community. And as chair of the Glenbow, I've had the good fortune to work with many talented people to get to this point, all of whom have had a contribution to today's announcement and have contributed in some way to the Reimagine Glenbow campaign. To all of you, and you know who you are, thank you from the bottom of our heart. It is a great day for us. So none of this would be possible without the dedication of those who work tirelessly in the community to make this happen, and you'll meet some of them today. I would like to first ask Gail O'Brien to come up to speak. Gail has been a longtime supporter of Glenbow, first as a board member, and now as the co-chair of Glenbow's Reimagine campaign. Gail.
Thank you, Laurie, very, very much for the kind introduction. Premier Kenney, Ministers Orr and Panda, Mayor Gondek, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you all so much for coming today. By way of background, and for those who don't know me, I was born and brought up in Montreal and moved to Calgary in 1979. My career in fashion spanned over 30 years, including the last 10 as general manager of Holt Renfrew. Over the last 20 years since my retirement, I have devoted my life to the not-for-profit sector across Canada with a focus in medicine, child health and well-being, and the arts. And the arts are which bring me here today. It is my passion for the arts and for Glenbow. And as Laurie said, I've had a long history with Glenbow, serving as governor on the board of Glenbow for 10 years in the early 2000s, and the last several of those as vice chair, after which I continued to engage on the Capital Planning Committee. I was passionate about what the potential and possibilities could be for a Glenbow of the 21st century. But though the groundwork was laid, it was not to happen on my watch. Fast forward, just a few years later, all that has changed. Under the dynamic leader of past Chair Irfan Raji, and CEO Nicholas Bell, and now Chair Laurie, a new vision, Glenbow Reimagine, has been created, and government funding of $105 million from all three levels has been secured. And I was deeply honored to be asked to chair the community campaign along with world-renowned artist Kent Monkman to help bring this vision to a reality. To date, I can proudly report about $12 million has been raised in the community, which brings both government and community campaigns to 86% of the total goal of $135 million. I believe in this vision and its power to unlock the potential of Glenbow. In its expanded potential as a community and cultural hub for Calgary, accessible to all, and as an educational destination for kids from every postal code in Calgary, where sharing beauty and culture together will enrich them forever. In the power of Glenbow Reimagined to critically revitalize Calgary's downtown core, restoring it to the vibrant city centre it has been in the past. In the architectural vision of a soaring and magnificent showcase for the extraordinary collections of Glenbow, Canadian art, international art, and of course, the unparalleled Indigenous collection. I believe in a 21st century Glenbow, which would draw people and art exhibitions from all across Canada, a tourist destination, an engine for growth, and as Richard Florida says, a beacon enriching the lives of all who come, and especially those who stay and live, bringing their skills and innovative ideas to Calgary. And finally, and most importantly, I believe in the power of Glenbow Reimagined to transform the city and inspire all who visit this great citadel of art through together experiencing a shared sense of beauty, history, our different cultures, and above all, a sense of our common humanity. Eric Harvey began this journey over 50 years ago as the founder and creator of Glenbow. His vision of bringing the world's great art to Calgary has brought us to where we are today. But now is the time for a reimagined Glenbow for this 21st century, and perhaps also time for a new champion to take us into the future. A champion whose values mirror Glenbow's own: community building, entrepreneurial spirit, the importance of family, lifelong learning, and fairness and equity for all. How perfect would such a champion be for this Glenbow reimagined? And so now it is my honor and great pleasure to introduce Julie Shaw, Chair of the Shaw Family Foundation and daughter of the late, great Mr. J.R. Shaw.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here in this COVID world. As president and chair of the Shaw Family Foundation, I'm speaking today on behalf of our family, and I would like to thank my brother Brad, who is joining us here today. I would also like to thank the Rogers family for their support. Our family is thrilled to be here with you at Glenbow, to celebrate the legacy of our father and patriarch, J.R. Shaw. J.R. was a humble man who loved his family, he loved this city, he loved this province, and his country. He built successful businesses and always made a point of supporting the causes and the people in the communities that were so good to him. Our announcement today is just another example of the community spirit he instilled in all of us. This morning, we are very, very proud to make a donation that honors JR the best way we know how, by building upon his passion for Canadian art and artists and passing it along for future generations to enjoy without any barriers by giving a $25 million endowment to the Glenbow. We can make this Calgary institution and all that it has to offer accessible to everyone without the restriction of having to pay to enter the building. This means that when Glenbow's transformation is complete in a couple of years and its doors reopen, all its visitors will enjoy free admission forever. J.R. collected works of art created by almost every iconic Canadian artist. Many he called friends. He loved sharing his passion for arts with others. This is why our family is donating a further $10 million endowment to establish Glenbow's Institute for Canadian Art. This institute will give you access to world-class arts and culture right here in Calgary, and will be the place to see, experience, and study Canadian art in all its forms. It was important to JR that Calgary be a vibrant community where people have easy access to arts and culture, which is why we decided this gift is the perfect way for the Shaw family and the Shaw Family Foundation to honor him. In conclusion, we would like to share a short video from our family on what this donation means to us and what we hope it will mean to you. Thank you.
A museum like the Glenbow is really a wonderful place of learning, of discovery.
Museums play an absolutely important role in the cultural aspect of any city or country. It's a place of vast educational opportunities.
The museums that we built in the 20th century aren't serving a 21st century community. That's why we're reimagining how Glenbow will serve Calgary and Canada.
This project is so much more than just a facelift. It really is about connecting with people and having people connect with the Glenbow in a new and different way.
A lot of the things that the Glenbow are interested in, so was JR.
It's our duty to give back to society And if we want to continue to have a healthy country, we all need to give back.
JR firmly believed that there's a responsibility as a citizen to give back. And the more you have, the more you can give.
We're honored to be Canadian. We're so privileged to be able to have the opportunities we've had and to be a bit lucky and a bit successful in doing that. And I think it's our obligation, our duty, to make people's lives better, make the community better.
This gift will make Glenbow the first major museum in Canada to have free general admission for everyone, forever. It becomes the first museum in Canada to do this, and it's only possible because of the support of the Shaw family.
What we really like about the Glenbow, it's art, and JR loved art, so he would be so pleased and proud to be a part of this. And this gives him an opportunity to continue sharing his love of art with the whole city of Calgary and, frankly, the country of Canada.
Hopefully this opens a door for someone else. If it just gets one family, one individual, one company doing more, it's a success.
We hope this gift that the Shaw family and the Shaw Foundation have given will really entice Calgarians, Albertans, and Canadians to join in and help revitalize the art community and make Calgary a cultural hub.
The transformation of this building is going to make so many new experiences possible for Calgary.
Well, JR will be remembered for a good long time. For people who don't know him, this is the kind of legacy, the Glenbow, that I think would be right up his alley.
This building would be a rich, lifelong legacy for the late J.R. Shaw.
Thank you. Your gift redefines how we engage with arts and culture in Canada. It also redefines this city for the people who live here and for visitors from around the world. Calgary will never be the same. That's what J.R. Shaw and the Shaw family are making possible today. Good morning. Julie, Brad, Carol, and Heather, on behalf of Glenbow, this community, and of Calgarians, Albertans, and Canadians everywhere, thank you. The commitment your family is making today is unparalleled in its impact on how we will experience arts and culture in the future. It could not be more fitting tribute to your husband and father, J.R. Shaw. Those who were fortunate to know J.R. recognized his dual passions for Canadian arts and culture and for lifting up each member of a community, ensuring every person is provided with an equal opportunity to learn and to thrive to their maximum ability. These passions come together in the Glenbow we are building today. In selecting Glenbow as your community partner, you pay tribute to the values J.R. held so dear. And you create a lasting legacy that will change how we engage with the world. Your commitment today honors us all. Let's discuss for a moment what will be the astonishing impact of this $35 million donation to Glenbow, beginning with the new J.R. Shaw free admission endowment. The vast majority of museums in the world charge for admission to their galleries, which unfortunately means that there are always members of those communities who cannot participate in the enrichment we know the arts brings to our lives. A handful of museums are different. The Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., the National Gallery and the British Museum in London, the Getty in Los Angeles, to name a few. What distinguishes these world-leading institutions is free general admission and the opportunity for every person to access the same cultural resources. Now Glenbow will join their ranks as the first major museum in Canada to offer free general admission to everyone, forever. In Calgary, access to arts and culture will no longer be a privilege. It will be a right. Thanks. Thanks to the Shaw family, we are rewriting our social contract with this community by removing the fundamental barrier of affordability so that all of us may participate in the enrichment Glenbow's collections and program provide. This won't just impact those of us here today. This is about rewiring how we think about arts and culture for generations to come. A child born in Calgary today will grow up with the inherent understanding of universal access, grasping intuitively that communities benefit when every member is present. They will take that belief with them wherever they go, challenging the status quo. This is vital because accessibility isn't just a Calgary issue, it's a global issue. Free general admission at Glenbow will ensure higher attendance to the museum and greater visitation downtown, just when our partners across Calgary are striving together to rebuild the city centre we deserve. Equal access to our cultural infrastructure will provide a civic framework that helps us return to the sector of the city that belongs to everyone. And it will help convince citizens of Canada and the world that Calgary is the right place to move, to live, and to raise a family. The second portion of this unprecedented gift will endow the new J.R. Shaw Institute for Canadian Art. This unique program will live in a dedicated gallery within Glenbow and will include annual exhibitions, educational and school programming, artist residencies, commissioned artworks, internships, fellowships for both emerging and senior scholars from across Canada. Now, more than ever, there is an urgency to the question of Canada, of where it is we come from, how our values evolve, how we empathize with each other, and where we wish to go. J.R. Shaw, in his devotion to Canadian art, recognized the fruits of these creative labors as harboring key answers to these questions, because art reveals the truths of who we are. He knew that there is no greater understanding of Canada than through the works artists create to share their views of it. Through the J.R. Shaw Institute for Canadian Art, we will discover new ways of knowing ourselves, of witnessing the diversity of experience within our borders, and how the confluence of many views weaves together our complex national character. The center of this conversation will shift to Calgary so that Canadians from coast to coast to coast congregate here to better grasp a full picture of Canada. 2 years ago this week, Premier Kenney spoke passionately from these very galleries about the importance of revitalizing Glenbow for future generations, sparking momentum toward that end with the Government of Canada's critical commitment of major capital funding. Just months ago, Glenbow formally launched its campaign, Glenbow Reimagined, with a target of $135 million to reflect both the cost of renovating our building and an ambitious future program. We were confident in achieving this goal because of the strength of support from each order of government here today, as well as from our community leaders in Alberta and across the country. Admittedly, in setting that goal, we did not include free admission or an Institute of Canadian Art. These we regarded as aspirational goals outside the scope of what we proposed in our campaign plan. The Shaw family is making these aspirations our reality. Their contribution of $35 million is transformational for this campaign, not only because of the breadth of its impact in our community, but also because it sends a signal that arts and culture matter, that Calgary matters, and that together we will reach even greater heights. I am thrilled to announce that as of today, Glenbow Reimagined has achieved $152 million in combined public and private support. We are resetting our campaign goal to $175 million and look forward to working with our supporters here at home and across Canada to ensure every possible benefit for this community is achieved in the new Glenbow. I want to thank our campaign co-chairs, Gail O'Brien, Kent Monkman, and Irfan Raji, Laurie Van Royen and our Board of Governors, and the team at Glenbow for striving together to define this museum's purpose and to fight for these values during an unsettling time in global affairs. It is humbling to come to work every day alongside those who believe in the power of arts and culture to change lives. Julie, Brad, Heather, and Carol, your family's gift in honor of JR's legacy is the largest to Glenbow since the museum's founding. It will dramatically change how we operate, and most importantly, how we are able to serve this community. In recognition of your extraordinary commitment, it is our honor to rename Glenbow's building the J.R. Shaw Centre for Arts and Culture. Thanks to your commitment, generations of Canadians and visitors to our great city will engage with arts and culture more freely, more deeply, as part of JR's legacy. When it opens, the J.R. Shaw Centre for Arts and Culture will be a beacon for all those who embrace the values we share as members of this community, everything we are celebrating here today. And I think JR would be proud of that. On behalf of Glenbow, we cannot wait to stand shoulder to shoulder with your family in 2024 as we cut the ribbon on the J.R. Shaw Centre for Arts and Culture. Thank you so much. It's now my pleasure to introduce Irfan Raji to the podium.
Good morning. My name is Irfan Raji. I'm the past chair of the board of Glenbow and the campaign co-chair for Glenbow Reimagined, and it's my pleasure to be here with you for what can only be described as an incredibly surreal day. I have so many things that I could share and talk about, but let me talk about maybe just one or two. The first is the ethos of this organization, going back to its founding with Eric Harvey. Eric was a very successful Calgary businessman and an individual that believed in this province and its people and giving access to its people to culture. And he knew that most people at that time couldn't afford to travel around the world. And so he decided to bring the world to them and created this institution to do that. Knowing what I know of the late J.R. Shaw, I can't think of an individual that more emulates how Eric Harvey thought about that than him. If you go to Shaw Court and you see the art that's up on the wall, you see that he believed that access to culture was also a right, not a privilege. And so building on that legacy with this gift to not just have the art of the world and the objects of the world here, but have it be accessible is incredibly fitting. I brought my children to the announcement here today because I think it's really important to remember that it's this next generation that has this open access, irrespective of their capacity, that will actually be the lasting change. And I believe that 50 years from now, after Eric Harvey and after J.R. Shaw, this gift of open access will create the next philanthropist that will make this institution even better. On our kids, actually, it's my daughter Hannah's 5th birthday today, and if every kid gets a new building for their birthday, that's going to get really expensive pretty soon. I moved to Calgary 9 years ago for opportunity and almost immediately joined the board of Glenbow. Not because of what it was then, but what we thought it could be, its potential. Over that 8-year journey, we've completely revitalized this institution. We've moved it from being the Glenbow that people thought it was to, in my opinion, being the leading art museum in Canada today. Our board now has 45% BIPOC representation, 17% Indigenous representation. It's leaders from across Canada, not just Calgary, because this is a nationally important institution, not a locally important institution. We've hired, in my opinion, the very best CEO of any arts institution in the country, and he's built the very best team. We have moved from structural losses to profits. We have moved from being an institution that I think was inward-focusing to outward-focusing. We've created leading strategies on anti-racism and equity. We've created a partnership with the University of Calgary to build the largest research institution, library, and archives in Western Canada. And with today's gift, we are now leading the way with free admission for all. It's not just an example for Calgary and for Glenbow, it's an example for the world, putting us over the ranks of the Getty, of the Smithsonian, of the British Museum. This is a major, major achievement. I'm super proud of the journey that we've been on, and thank you to the Shaw family for making this possible. I think that the potential that we saw is now being realized, and I can't wait to see the future of this institution because of your generosity, and I'm so excited to share this with all Calgarians, Albertans, and Canadians, and I'm hopeful that others follow in our footsteps and make sure that art and culture is a right, not a privilege. It's my pleasure now to introduce virtually, bringing greetings from the federal government, our local Calgary Skyview Member of Parliament, George Chahal. Thank you.
Thank you, Irfan. Good morning and greetings on behalf of the Right Honourable Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, and the Government of Canada. I am pleased to be able to join you virtually from Ottawa today for this very special day in the Calgary arts community. I want to start by saying a very special congratulations to the Glenbow Museum and the Shaw family on this historic donation honoring the legacy of J.R. Shaw. The arts bring us together. They help us tell stories, learn, and experience culture. Our government believes in the power of the arts. In 2021 budget, we invested $1.9 billion in arts, culture, and heritage. This funding will empower artists and organizations to create art and to teach and train the next generation of creators. We've put $500 million towards recovery and reopening because we understand the truly devastating impact of COVID-19 had on the arts across the country. Everybody in our community has a role in supporting arts because art is ultimately about community. Today, we're here to celebrate the generosity of the Shaw family. Their generous contribution will help the Glenbow Museum accomplish our shared goal of making art more accessible to all Calgarians. Free general admission for everybody will make such a difference in the lives of Calgarians who are not able to afford entry fees. I want to once again express my gratitude to everybody who played a part in making today happen. I'm looking forward to celebrating many more exciting days for art in Calgary in the weeks and months ahead.
Thank you, MP Chahal. It's now my great pleasure to introduce one of our most ardent supporters, the Premier of Alberta, the Honourable Jason Kenney. And I remember, as Nicholas said, 2 years ago you started this when you contributed the initial $40 million to get this going. And we have not looked back since then. You also issued us a challenge to say the other money will be unlocked if you can unlock the community money. And with the help of the Shaw family and many members in the community, we've done that. And so I'm very proud to ask you to come up today and talk a little bit about our project.
Thank you very much, Lori, and thank you to Clarence Oakey. Thank you for starting us off in a good way, for welcoming us here, and for welcoming us on behalf of the Blackfoot people. What a great day for Alberta. This is an historic moment in Alberta culture. This is a huge day for Calgary, and I can't underscore how grateful I am as Premier with the Shaw family's enormous gift to realize this exciting vision of Glenbow Reimagined. Back in 1966, Eric Harvey donated his enormous, eclectic collection to the newly created Glenbow Foundation and made a $5 million gift that was then matched by the Government of Alberta. The Government of Alberta then made a major investment in building this museum in the mid-1970s, and it has been a key jewel in the cultural crown of this province ever since. A cultural institution rooted in our Western Canadian heritage and values. Eric Harvey was a great Alberta entrepreneur and was committed deeply to giving back to the community and to celebrating and preserving, transmitting to the future our Western Canadian culture to future generations. And his contribution imposes on all of us an obligation to, as custodians, the Government of Alberta as ultimately the crown the collection belongs to the Alberta Crown, has I believe, a moral obligation to ensure its preservation and to ensure that it is shared with Albertans and those who visit us. That's why I was so excited to learn about the Glenbow Reimagined vision. I want to congratulate and thank Lori, Gail, Irfan, Nicholas, all of the board, volunteers, and staff for having brought us to this day. I was so excited 2 years ago this week to announce the Government of Alberta's $40 million contribution to Glenbow Reimagined and to nominate the project for federal infrastructure funding and to help us secure the additional $40 million. Thank you to the Government of Canada for their partnership and contribution, as well as the city. And now, the growing number of private donors, and particularly the Shaw Family Foundation. We decided to step up early and in a big way with one of our largest infrastructure contributions to a cultural project in Alberta government history because this collection is so important. It also helps, by the way, it's part of our recovery plan. It's going to put a lot of people to work doing the redesign of the museum, and the whole vision with this endowment will mean a vital center of employment for so many in Alberta's creative industries, and that will help our economy and the renewal of Calgary's downtown. It does so in a way that will also improve our cultural offering to the world, which in turn will be a big help to our tourism industry, which has been devastated in the past 2 years. I think many of you will have seen the New York Times article about Calgary's tourism offering about 18 months ago. Well, the Glenbow Reimagined, I think, is going to put us very much on the radar screen of visitors from around the world who come here, many to go to the Rocky Mountains, but they're looking for some way of touching Alberta's culture, history, and art, and this is where they'll find it. I'm so excited about the vision of sharing more proactively parts of the collection with other cultural institutions in the province. I think the new Western Heritage Centre that the Calgary Stampede will be building is the renewed Fort Calgary, Blackfoot Crossing, and so many other cultural institutions that can be partners, because most of this collection is in storage. We need to get it out in front of the public as a part of our broader effort to improve the quality of life of this city. Calgary and Alberta are set for a few years of amazing economic growth. People are realizing that we're the best kept secret, I should say, to come, to live, to work, to raise a family. And I think we're going to see dynamic population growth. We have affordable living, we have affordable real estate. What we need to show the rest of Canada and the rest of the world is we also have a world-class cultural life, and Glenbow Reimagined is a critical part of that. So finally, thank you so much to the Shaw family for your amazing leadership and contribution here, truly in keeping with the legacy of JR, who, like Eric Harvey, was one of Alberta's greatest entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, the greatest resource of this province, I believe, is its entrepreneurial culture. And J.R. Shaw, like Eric Harvey, personified that can-do creative spirit. Also, their deep commitment to giving back to the community. What a fantastic Alberta story this is and will be. So thank you to the Shaw family. Thank you to everybody at Glenbow for your vision. And I cannot wait to see the doors open in 2 years' time to be the first major museum in Canada with free admission to see the magnificent, a reflection of the magnificent culture and heritage of this unique part of the world. Congratulations.
Okay, it's now my pleasure to ask Minister Prasad, Panda, where are you? There you are, to come to the podium. He has been a big supporter of Glenbow from the very beginning, like Premier, and we're really grateful to have you here today as the minister who owns the building. So thank you.
Thank you, Lori and Nicholas and all the Glenbow Museum management and volunteers for inviting me to be part of this program today. As we heard, Shaw Family Foundation is gifting $35 million to the Glenbow Museum Foundation. Thank you. This incredible gift means that generations of Calgarians, Albertans, and visitors from around the world will be able to experience the magic of the Glenbow Museum admission-free. As the minister responsible for public buildings owned by the province, I was thrilled to sign off on today's renaming. This is truly a fitting tribute for a Calgarian whose contributions in both business and philanthropic realms will last for generations. Thank you, Shaw family members. Your support for arts and culture in the province are inspiring to us all. And your amazing gift not only provide free admission, it will help generate economic activity around the city for years to come. The impact of this donation isn't simply a new name on a building. This donation helps ensure Calgary continues to be a place where people want to open businesses, want to invest, and a place where people want to study, work, play, and make their home. That is actually the focus of Government of Alberta. As Premier said, ensuring the lives and livelihoods of Albertans are the best they can be. And that's why we continue to invest in Calgary. In fact, the Government of Alberta is investing more than $2 billion directly into the Calgary to build and renew public infrastructure. If you take a look around the city, you'll see a lot of construction work which is underway. There is also tons of work going on behind the scenes you can't see. We are busy planning and designing the new Calgary Court of Appeal building right here in downtown Calgary, and renovations to Rocky View General Hospital. And there are actually 3 projects underway at Foothills Medical Center, in addition to that state-of-art Calgary Cancer Center. And also, there are many other projects. We are working together with federal government to make sure Calgary gets its fair share of federal funding to build and improve local infrastructure. So all told, more than $2 billion being injected into Calgary community, which will support 12,000 jobs related to planning, design, and construction. So in closing, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to the Shaw family. The Glenbow is home to some amazing exhibits, and now that admission is free, so even a cheap guy like me have no excuse for not visiting the museum. So it's an honor to name the facility in which the Glenbow Museum resides in recognition of your philanthropy. So welcome everyone today to the new J.R. Shaw Center for Arts and Culture. Thank you all.
Okay, so now it's my pleasure to ask the Honourable Minister Orr to come to the podium. As Minister of Culture, we're going to look forward to working with you to create a strong, sustainable organization into the future. So please come to the podium.
Well, good morning, everyone. Wonderful day to be here. Great pleasure to be at the newly renamed J.R. Shaw Center for Arts and Culture, home of the reimagined Glenbow. I'm truly honored to be part of this momentous occasion alongside so many people who have helped build Calgary and Alberta's arts and culture scene, including, of course, my colleagues from the government, the Premier Kenney, Minister Panda, MP George Schall, Nicholas Bell, President and CEO of Glenbow, Mayor Gondek, and Laurie Van Royen, Chair of the Board of Governors, and also the other dedicated board members, as well as the Reimagined campaign team, and Julie Shaw, J.R. Shaw's daughter and the Director and President of the J.R. Shaw Foundation. Artists and art organizations are our storytellers. They tell the story of what's been, what is, and what could be. Over time, through art, Alberta has truly fostered a sense of pride in who we are and what this province stands for. I'm thankful to be Alberta's Minister of Culture with responsibility for supporting and stewarding our province's heritage and identity, which is one of the reasons we introduced the Arts Professions Recognition Act just this last fall, provided a fair amount of stabilized funding both for art organizations and individual artists. And quite frankly, it falls in the tradition of 50 years of Alberta arts and culture through Alberta legislation and a ministry dedicated to arts and culture. Because this province truly has world-class arts and culture, and we need world-class facilities like this one to show it off to the world and the people who live here. The revitalization and reimagination of the Glenbow is a step into the future of arts in this province. Part of the vision is showing that art is truly for everyone. And so thanks to the incredible generosity of the Shaw Family Foundation, the J.R. Shaw Free Admission Endowment will allow for universal free general admission to the Glenbow forever after it reopens in a little while. Now all Albertans, regardless of financial ability, will be able to experience the Glenbow's incredible collection. Who knows, it may help inspire the next great Albertan artist or philanthropist, quite frankly. So thank you for your example. Alberta's arts and culture have long relied on the generous support of patrons such as the Shaw family. And I just personally want to thank you and your entire family for leading by example with this generous gift. Today's announcement is something that every Albertan, urban or rural, can be excited about. J.R. Shaw once said that the only thing you really have in life is your reputation and what you have built. Throughout his life, he gave back so much to this province. And quite frankly, folks, that's the Alberta way. Albertans give back. It's our culture, it's our heritage, it's who we are. This generous donation to the Glenbow, in his honor, is just one more addition to the legacy he leaves behind in Alberta. And I can't wait to see the final results of the reimagined, revitalized Glenbow in this J.R. Shaw Centre for Arts and Culture. And I know it will be exciting for the people of this city as well as the entire province. So thank you for contributing to this historic happening. Thank you.
So it is now my pleasure to ask Her Worship Mayor Gondek to come up to speak a bit about the legacy of this gift in the city and also Glenbow as an institution. And as Glenbow is really looking forward to working with you and to create a greater cultural presence in the city. And thank you as well for the donations or for the contributions to the project. Really important. Thank you.
All right, as the fifth politician to speak today, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going to say, but try to keep parts of it original. It is absolutely an honor to be part of this incredible announcement today. On behalf of the City of Calgary and my council colleagues, congratulations to the Glenbow and my deepest appreciation to the Shaw family for the endowment that means so much to the future of our city. Today is a day to celebrate. There's incredible significance in this endowment. The J.R. Shaw Free Admission Endowment of $25 million and the J.R. Shaw Institute for Canadian Art Endowment for $10 million. Let's just let that sink in. $35 million from this family were created by the Shaw family as a legacy for J.R. Shaw. In his name, this gift will offer everyone the opportunity to be a part of world-class arts and culture in a museum for free, as we have heard, free forever. Let's let that sink in as well. This levels the playing field for anyone seeking access to rich and diverse cultural experiences, whether it's kids, their parents, their grandparents. This access breaks down barriers for those in positions of poverty. It is something to be excited about for newcomers and those who are typically denied this type of opportunity to feed the mind and feed the soul. Julie, Brad, I'm grateful to both of you and your whole family for providing an opportunity for everyone who wants to experience beauty, wonder, and joy. This type of access to arts and culture is unprecedented in our nation, and I couldn't be more proud that it's happening right here in our city. We're sending a signal to the world that bold, progressive, and inclusive cities like ours are home to families as well as institutions that choose to invest in accessibility as a means of resilience. The history showcased at the Glenbow has always supported our growth on a cognitive and emotional level, which we all know has a great impact, a great positive impact to our physical well-being. And now, in our city's future, the J.R. Shaw Centre for Arts and Culture at the Glenbow will enable all of us to sit, to study, to experience, and to appreciate works that are produced by our fellow Canadians. The J.R. Shaw Institute for Canadian Art will feature the work of our nation's artists in all of their forms. This institute will inspire budding talent, including an artist residency program and opportunities for further study through internships as well as fellowships. The generosity of the Shaw family also amplifies our city's efforts to revitalize our downtown with a thriving arts and culture scene. And after the past 2 years of incredible unpredictability, we know that we need art and cultural experiences to keep us going and to keep us whole. As we emerge into recovery, I invite everyone to come downtown, come down often with your friends and family and experience everything that Calgary has to offer, and now experience it for free. Congratulations to everyone at the Glenbow on the new partnership with the Shaw family in JR's name. What a way to honor a great man, and what a way to honor this iconic building. Thank you to everyone for making this possible.
So I've had the great pleasure to oversee the project first through the chair of the Project Oversight Committee and now chair of the board. And I can tell you how exciting this is to be here today after 6 years of working on this project. I think I'm here forever. I don't think, Irfan, you and I are ever allowed to leave. So on behalf of the Board of Governors, our campaign co-chairs, Gail, Irfan, Kent, Nicholas, and our staff, and our community, I'm thrilled to express our deep appreciation to the Shaw family, Brad, Julie, Carol, and Heather, and the humbling sense of honor that we feel on becoming a significant part of the legacy of J.R. Shaw. His contributions to business, to community, to artists, to our province, to our national identity cannot be overstated. It is with tremendous pride, excitement, and a commitment to provide exceptional service to the community that we accept this generous gift. And we thank both you, Julie, and Brad for being here today. I also like to thank our government supporters, the federal government, MP Shahal, Premier, Minister Panda, Minister Orr, and Mayor Gondak for your unwavering support to get to that $105 million for capital. And I would like to thank the members of the media for joining us today as well. This concludes the formal part of our presentation, and I'd like to invite you for photos and interviews. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.